Hey there, it's Leah, and I wanted to do a little catching up for advanced team members. So those of you who lead and make a difference at 828 Church. And first off, we just want to cover a little bit about our leadership journey at 828. Because if you're watching this, you definitely impact people, make a difference for the kingdom, and you're influencing lives. And so I just wanted to give you a little bit of insight into the leadership journey and what that entails. So I'm going to share my screen and share with you a little bit about advanced. All right, so as I mentioned, our leadership journey really starts with those that lead themselves well. So leading yourself well entails you are faithful to your commitments, your places on time, I don't know, it could be even simple things like you read your Bible, you show up when you say you're going to show up, you fix meals for yourself, that kind of stuff. If you lead yourself well, you follow this, and you're probably a member of the CERT team. And we encourage people to go through Growth Track. That's kind of like the on-ramp into what we do at 828 and getting connected. The next step is a captain. A captain leads a designated area and has team members, so they lead people. So this could happen on Sunday mornings in the CERT team. This could happen outside, like a care team, or just other missions in 828 where we connect people to people. And there is a leadership training at that crossroads when you go from team member to team captain. Our next level is coach, and a coach leads a group of captains, so they lead leaders. And there will be additional training at that level too. Finally, we've got directors who oversee a department and multiple coaches. And, an 828 is still on the grow, so a lot of that will be, like the director of the CERT team is Dylan and I, and there are coaches and captains. And then also at the very top, there's organizational lead, which is Pastor Ron and the lead pastor team. So how that looks, so that's the 828 leadership journey. We'll talk specifically about Sunday Serve. I'll give you a little bit more of a specific example because that leadership journey can happen in all places at 828. But on the Sunday Serve team, there are team members, and their team members' job is to meet the mission of the team and just be family together, serve together on Sundays. Maybe the mission of your team, you're on the hospitality team, for example, you make coffee, you make it welcoming, a clean space for guests to come. The next part of that is team captains. So captain will oversee a group of team members. Like I said, they lead others. And this used to be called team leads. Now we're calling them captains. Just, as we grow, we just found a need to innovate and grow. So then we've got coaches who oversee captains. So all captains, if you're a team captain right now and you are hospitality or lights or pipe and drape or just the different parts that happen on Sunday morning, there will be someone that coaches you. And they connect with you. They will, you'll meet periodically, hopefully often, get to just watch out for you and cover you and answer any questions you have. And then finally, Sunday Serve team directors, which is Dylan and I, and we set the vision for the Serve team and then connect with the coaches. So this is a little bit different than traditionally what we had done. Life changes every 3 months and we have to grow. And so now we've got this coach level, just someone for captains to connect with that they can ask questions with and be covered by. We want everyone at 828 to be, all of our leaders to be connected and covered, but not controlled. All right, so if you are a team captain or becoming a team captain, just wanted to go over the responsibilities and what that looks like. So ultimately, you're responsible for the team's mission on Sunday morning. So if you are the cafe team captain, then you're ultimately responsible for making sure the cafe is there, the food is stocked, all the materials are needed and are purchased ahead of Sunday, and also just seeing what you need for the next week. So all of those things that need to happen on Sunday morning, that's your area, but that doesn't mean you have to do it yourself every week. I mean, you can empower your team and just, sometimes it might be just talking to the team member who's running the cafe that week and making sure they have everything they need. But you'd be the one that we would ask if something was needed in the cafe, or who's in charge of the cafe this week? That would be the question that you would need to answer. Weekly, you'll need to keep in contact with your team members, and just if they're serving that Sunday, when you see the roster, give them a text, give them a call. Hey, do you need anything for Sunday? It's a nice way to ask it instead of are you going to be there? It really should come out of relationship and connecting with them. Team captains should pray for their team members. I know that just by serving together, we disciple each other and we just do life together, and you might know of something in that person's life you need to pray for. And so be diligent about praying and covering them. And then also just praying for your area, wherever you're serving on Sundays. Team captains should also manage their green sheet. So a green sheet is everything you need to know to go green on Sunday morning before service. So that green sheet will say how many minimum people you need in your area, what's the procedure for setting up and tearing down, any coaching points on what should be said, what shouldn't be said, that kind of stuff. The team captains that establishes that. Team captain should know who your second is. So if you're not going to be there, you should know who's standing in for you, and just be continually training and sharing that space and empowering your team. The next thing is know your team, who's on your team, and then who's onboarding. So you will know from lots of different sources who's interested in your team. You might hear it from Growth Track. Coming out of Growth Track 301, someone says they really want to greet. So now you know. I'll communicate that to you, or someone that was in 301. Someone might come up to me or Dylan and say they're interested, or they might come up to you or someone else at Mission Control. So you'll hear who's interested, and you'll know who's interested in onboarding, and then that goes to the team captain to pull them in, train them, engage with them. A few more things for team captain: communicating any roster changes. So if someone on your team tells you, I know I'm going to be out the whole month of July, then you communicate that to me as I create the month roster, and we'll work with that. And then consistently connect with your coach and have communication with them. And finally, checking Slack. So Slack is a mobile app. It's also a desktop app that you can use, and we use it for communication internally. And we'll do a demo of that in just a minute. But if you're a team captain, you should be engaged and online with Slack, so you can just communicate and connect with other leaders. The coach's responsibility is to connect with their captains, and they'll chat out any budget needs. So if you need a new coffee pot for the hospitality team, talk to your coach. What's the budget? What do we need? If you have an idea for how to decorate something, you need a little bit of money. That's the conversation you have with your coach. Your coach will pray with you, and also just when they do connect with you, they'll ask some questions that will create a coaching card that has questions that you'll talk about each time. How's your team? Did you hit your marks on Sunday? Is there anything I could do to help you? Stuff like that. And then finally, the directors, serve team directors will set the vision for the serve team. We'll manage the rotation and the rosters, even though you're more than welcome to talk about that within your teams and captains. And we pray with and for you. All right, so next we're going to do a Slack demonstration. I'm going to invite Lindy to come and do that.
Okay, so I'm going to take a couple minutes to talk about what Slack is and what it's used for. We've got, hopefully you've heard of Slack. Leah just mentioned it, so you might already be using it. It's a really useful tool. At its most basic, it is just a way to communicate with one another instead of having to only use Facebook Messenger or email or text. It kind of keeps everything in one tidy spot. It's not going to be for in-depth coaching. It's not going to be for conflict resolution. It's not going to replace a face-to-face conversation that needs to happen. The screen that you can see here is going to show you our general channel, hashtag general. Oh, is this your cafe on here right now? Mm-hmm. Just kidding. So here you can see in the cafe channel, not the general channel, a conversation that they're having regarding some of the different things that you would need in a basic group conversation. You can see, excuse me, some of the needs that they had where, where they can just chat about how Sunday went, different things that they needed. You notice where they do the @ sign, where Leah tags Michelle Eason here with an @ sign. It's a way to let you know that someone is talking specifically to you. You can also see down at the bottom, Leah's got an @ channel, which is going to notify anyone who's in this channel that there's a conversation happening that they can be part of. We've got a lot of different channels that you can see over on the side. These are all of the channels that Leah is currently in. These starred channels are her favorite channels, so they're the ones that are easiest for her to get to. So the general channel, you can see a lot of IFTTT notifications, which is where Dylan has linked our master calendar. You can see I was busy this morning with all our varsity and JV summer plans. This is anything that you can have the whole serve team see. You know, Audra shared pictures of our Miracle League Mets, and it's going to have information that you want everyone to see. Out of this group, you'll even see some spin-off groups where, as the conversation goes on, we'll realize a need to pull it out and create a team for it. And all these different channels here are different spin-offs that have happened in other groups where we've realized that there's a need.
So as a point, I think that we've used Slack for the past probably 6 months or so, and it's been a great tool. And if you're on the advanced team, then you're invited to use it. The whole church doesn't have it. This is for people who lead, and you know, it's a place to be connected. I guess be aware of the general channel. Everybody sees everything, and it's, you know, we haven't had any issues, but it's positive conversation. It's good stuff. It's collaboration. And those are the big goals for it. I just wanted to.
No, I appreciate it. You can see over here that some of the channels that Leah has over here have a lock next to them. It's not because it's like secret information, but like Leah was saying, where anyone who's on Slack can see certain channels if they're open or they don't have that lock, they just have the hashtag. You can see here we've got our care team. Care team is awesome, and we've got a lot of people that are involved in taking care of other people in our church, but that's not always information that everyone wants shared publicly, is what's going on in their family, whether it's medical, financial. Sometimes those are just, it's kept in a locked group just for privacy to love the people that are involved in those needs. You can also see this plus sign here will allow you to create a new channel, and clicking on the channels tab here will let you see any of the themes that we have for all of the church within Slack. It's kind of like Facebook groups that you don't really want to be in every group. Just think about what groups you're going to be collaborating with. I know for myself, I'm involved in the creative team channel, but it's more because as JV and varsity, we use them to do a lot of our promo materials. Even though I'm not part of the creative team, that's a good collaboration point for me. Now, I'm not going to sign up to be on the worship channel because no one wants me on stage on Sunday morning, but it's just be discerning about which channels, even if they're open channels, which ones you get involved in, because that information's not going to pertain to you. It's just going to clutter your feed up, and you don't really need all of that. So you might even see, just looking at the ways that people communicate here, how it could help with your team. You know, for myself, I have the JV and varsity team where we collaborate about things that are going on with our youth group. It's a convenient tool for us. You might see ways that your team would benefit from a way to collaborate this way, and just chat with your upline, go to your coach and talk about the vision of why you want a Slack channel. We'll see if there's already a spot there that maybe you would fit into, and otherwise we'll create a new channel. Some of the other nice features that we have with Slack is if you click on this 828 Church, it's going to give you all of your settings and your preferences. When you're using the mobile app, some of these things are going to look a little bit different. Instead of clicking on the 828 over here, there's these 3 dots right here in this other corner that'll get you the same information. So when you go to your preferences, you'll be able to set your notification settings. You can decide. Personally, I like to get messages for anything that's happening in any of my groups. I know that doesn't work well for everybody. You also get a chance to set your do not disturb hours, whether that's while you're sleeping or when you're at work. It kind of gives you a chance to customize how you see all of those. Another tool that is really helpful are these direct messages down here. So you saw the channels, you see direct messages too, which let you talk to a specific person. That way you can kind of communicate in a one-off conversation. I'm going to pull up Leia's Slackbot conversation. It gives you a chance to see where things are created. It gives you a chance to see where, you can see here Dylan archived something that is useful information for the time, but isn't something that we need currently. So it gives us like a storage place for all of our information. It also gives you a chance to use some of our other search features that you don't always want to put in a regular channel. I will type in one of my favorites. You're going to do this slash and CCB. You type in who is, and then you can pick anyone's if you're looking for information. So we'll look up my information. And when you type that in, it's going to give you this lovely command, because sometimes it doesn't work the first time. It'll let you type it a second time. And then it's going to pull up all my information. So you get your phone number, email address, and mailing address if you need it for anyone who's got their information in our CCB database, which is basically where we store like our big giant phone book for everyone who's involved in 828.
That's really meant to be a collaboration tool. Like in our life groups, if you're taking a meal with someone, you need to look up their address. Or if you're a captain and you want to call someone and remind them they're serving that Sunday, then you can look up their phone number and call them. So, you know, this is not a small thing. You're having access to our database, so use it wisely. And this is for, you know, the lead team, but it's there for you to empower you and equip you for the things that you need to do as a leader.
Some of the other ways that you can use that function, if you type in the who is, you can put in a last name, a first name, you can write who is new, and it'll give you a list of new people. And it's a really useful tool for following up with someone that you're supposed to be talking to. Those are mostly the Slack basics. It's worth noting too that when you have a message, whether it's a direct message or in your channel, it's just going to turn bold, and that's how you'll know you need to click on it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so those were some demos on Slack. And give me here while I jump to another thing you might have to do as a team captain. And I know I'm talking to captains right now, but or even as a coach or someone that's just helping out at 828, is you might have to purchase something. So you might need to buy Easter eggs for the Easter egg event, or if you're helping with Serve Team Breakfast, you're purchasing fruit and bread and stuff like that. So we'd like you to be empowered to be able to do an expense report. So this is after you've gotten approved to spend certain money, then you need to keep your receipt and go to our expense report form. And Lindsay will fill us in a little bit more on how to do that.
So our expense reporting is really streamlined. David's done a great job of making it an easy process. The expense report form you can see right here. You know, we know that you're going to know your area best. We know that you're going to know when you have a need. So between you and your coach, you're going to be able to make a lot of decisions about how to handle needs that come up in your serve area. Once you guys chat, you know, the coach is going to have a good eye on where the budget is. So if you have something that you need, they'll either let you know to go ahead and buy it. You guys can come up with a savings plan and a timeline for when you'll be able to make a big purchase. So you've got 2 steps to do an expense report process. One is you're going to take a picture of your whole receipt and you're going to email it to expense@828church.com. So you can see down here, expense@828church.com. So you'll want to save that in your address book. When you send the email of the receipt, the title needs to have the amount and date of the purchase. Step 2 is really just this form, and kind of follow through all of the questions. You need to have your chart of accounts labeled to complete the form. The ministry expenses are going to be code 2, serve teams 2F, hospitalities 2I. When you reach out to your coach, the purchase, they're going to know what the correct label is, and that'll be on your green sheet as well, just so you guys will know how to label things. The ministry expense. You're going to make sure you emailed that receipt that we talked about to expense@828church. And at the bottom, you're going to see a question of this form that says, is this a charge? If this charge is a reimbursement, who does the check need to be made out to? So depending upon the scope of your purchase, you might be putting it on a personal card or you may be putting it on a church card. The Easter outreach at Maids, I used the expense report to be reimbursed for the face paint that I bought, and I used it. It was a big event, so I couldn't buy all of the food that I needed at Costco myself, but I used the church card. So I partnered with my coach, and we went to Costco together. But it was still my responsibility to send the picture of the receipt and fill out the expense report, even if it's not money coming back to me. This form is how we track all of the church spending that happens. So just remember that you own this whole process. If it's your expense, don't hesitate to ask any questions. Your coach is going to know how to fill it out that first time they walk through with you so that you're comfortable with it. And then going forward, you'll know how to handle that for the next expense.
And as a side note, those have to be submitted within 2 weeks of purchase to keep our books up and keep everything in line so that you can get reimbursed. Thanks, Lindsay. I think that I also wanted to say a side note of thank you for whenever you do take on expenses that you just give as a gift. I know some people will buy a couple things here or there for kids' church, or, we were gifted part of our pipe and drape. Like, we really appreciate you and want you also to know that there is a process for more expensive things, and that we appreciate your gifts and just that we get to steward these gifts together. All right. So, thank you for joining us. I know that was a lot of logistics, but I know that as team captains and team leaders and coaches, this is really important, and we so appreciate you. If you think about why we're doing this, just every Sunday people are enabled to meet Jesus and be at his feet, and their lives are changed. Little kids are learning about Jesus as we set up and tear down, and as we take care and we're faithful with things during the week, like calling each other, and so that we're on our A game and not behind. That just every little piece enables the Holy Spirit to move and for it to move smoothly. So we really appreciate all of the love and the effort and the time that you put in, and that God's called you on this journey. We're so excited to do it with you.